Testimony Part 2. God can handle any emotion. God can meet anyone, any place. That is what I found out. So, when I was 27, I was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. My brain fractured, it split. It used to be known as multiple personalities. I had fragmented, compartmentalized parts that held the memories of what happened to me and the trauma that I went through. And so I found a counselor. I had been working with her for about 3 years or so at this point. I was learning to listen to the parts, and I am sharing my story now after staying silent for 20 years. God healed my heart, every single part of my heart. I am blended, I am whole, I am one person. It's been a remarkable story. So I'm sharing with you this place that I was in. I just shared in the previous journal, I hate worship journal, because there was a part of the little ones on the inside that had trouble with worship, and my pastor was okay with it. God was okay with it, and here I am. Most of the time, when I went to the women's retreats, my counselor was there. She was the pastor's wife, and so I knew I was safe. Usually Rebecca, she was my little 5-year-old. She actually was kind of in charge of all the little ones. She kind of was their gatekeeper, protector. I was not ready to hear their stories and what had happened to them. And they did not trust Leah yet to actually open up and share with her some of the stuff yet. So Rebecca kind of held that together, and she was usually at the retreats, just keeping an eye on things. I know it was Rebecca because her right hand hurt. She could not move her right arm. So Rebecca had another part that worked with her often, and her name was Rachel. Rachel was a couple years older. Rachel did not like dealing with the other little ones and the little fragmented pieces of personality, and she left that to Rebecca. But Rachel did work with me. She, however, was super sad, super sad, and did not have a relationship with God that little Rebecca had. And so at the third retreat I went to, I remember that Rachel actually came and presented herself. I was there, so I could hear what was going on. Like, if you want to know more about DID and how I can say her and not me, it's my body, but it was her personality and her memories. I did not have any idea where they came from. It's remarkable, the creative things that God can do with our brain. It is so powerful. So I was at the retreat, and the part of me called Rachel was there. And Leah happened to actually have the afternoon off. Usually after a speaking engagement, all the ladies would go to lunch and they'd go shopping down Solvanes Road. And, well, we were free, just the two of us. And Leah took that whole afternoon to spend with Rachel, which meant so much. Time with people that care about you is just incredible. So we were walking down the street and talking, and Rachel was just sad, and God doesn't know where I am. Rachel felt like she was a piece of meat. Anyone used her and did whatever they wanted with her, and God did not care, because He doesn't go to dark places, and He doesn't care. And that is how she felt. And I remember the rain started coming down, and we walked across the street to this white canopy type thing, and we hid underneath it for a while, and Leah just kept talking to Rachel and kept just saying, she was not a piece of meat. She was not to be used. That there were some very bad people in her life who did things that they should not have done. Yeah, and where was God? I mean, basically, she was a little ornery. But they had some deep conversation about it and talked about it. And I am really glad that Rachel trusted Leah at that point to be able to open up and tell her about how she felt, that she wasn't afraid the fact that she's a pastor, she's going to get mad at me. She didn't feel that. She just felt love and acceptance, and she just God doesn't care about me. He just really doesn't. Where was he? Where was he when I was a kid? He wasn't around. And the rain let up, and we walked out of the gazebo and we walked back down the street. And I just assumed Leah was done talking to Rachel. She couldn't deal with her questions, but that was not true. Matter of fact, they ended up going up on the balcony and looking out over the balcony and probably talked for another hour or so. And they just sat down, and there was just this sadness and this loneliness that Rachel felt that, God did not see her and God did not care, and he can't even get to her. She's in the darkest of dark places, and he doesn't go where the dark is. He stays in the light. At least that's what all the other church people had ever always told her. And Leah just I wished I could remember the exact words that said. It was a very long conversation, and I was listening into their conversation. And it was just Leah basically said, oh, Rachel, God was there. God was there, and he was crying out for somebody to stop, for somebody to come rescue you, for someone to listen to him. But they didn't. They had their free will, and they were not listening to him, that he cared. He was with me in that dark place. God is not afraid to go into the darkest of dark places. He is not. That he was with me in those hard times, and he loves me. And I believe that part of that conversation, maybe it was the fact that Leah just spent time with her, which told her, maybe I am worthy because someone's actually spending time with me. You're not using me. You don't need me for anything. It really did something. And I think after that weekend, she no longer felt like a piece of meat. She no longer felt like she was all alone, that God couldn't see her. And as a matter of fact, she drew a picture of herself at the bottom of that ditch with all the rocks falling on her. And you can see the little me in the little corner. But Leah is down there also, and so she drew a picture. Leah has joined her down there. She is not alone. That God's presence with Leah was there with her. And that was, I really believe, the beginning of the insides and the little ones coming to realize that this God that we serve is amazing, is awesome, is not mad at them, did not abandon them when they were kids, that he was there and his heart was weeping for what was happening to them. And I look back and I'm like, why did I keep this secret? Why did I not want to tell anybody? This is my testimony. This is what God has done in my life. He took the shattered, crumpled pieces that I was, the split, fractured, individual fractured pieces, and he met each and every single one of them, and he loved each and every single one of them. And it took me learning how to love them, because I did not like them at all in the beginning. And it took me learning to accept them and love them and embrace them and work with them. And out of that came a wholeness to my soul and a wholeness to my heart. And it's all because of God and his love, and that I was not alone. So 20 years later, I'm finally opening my mouth and I'm sharing my story. Thank you for listening. And there's so much more to come.